Letters found me when I myself couldn't. I was 8 years old when I first fell in love with the idea of letters. I would go up on sites and Google ways to get letters, be it from my parents or even the very unrealistic tooth fairy, because she was the only fairy I knew back then. I would write them in the neatest handwriting I could manage. I'd address them to my grandparents, my friends, and even the lady living below me. I would write about the times I'd get really mad at my parents for something really stupid. Or about the times when me and my sister would dance around like monkeys while our mother cleaned the room behind us. Or about the time I accidentally told my neighbors I peed my pants and my mother banged her head on the wall for 2 straight hours after that. I'd write these letters on empty napkins, the first pages of my books, my sister's clothes, and sometimes the walls of my room. The saddest part about the whole thing was that I never sent these letters though. Maybe it was the fear of a complete stranger knowing little important details of my life, or something completely different. But to me it always felt, for the lack of a better word, weird. Last year, on a totally random evening, while scrolling through Instagram, I came across multiple posts quoting how lovely it would be to receive a love letter. I remember laughing at the irony of putting up an Insta post of receiving or writing a handwritten letter. Call me crazy, but that moment was my sign from the universe telling me to send out my letters. I started out small. I sent 2 letters. One to a friend I lost touch with, and another one to the lady living below. With good reason, I was afraid of their reactions on reading the letters. Days passed by with me overthinking each and every word written. When a week finally passed, I received my first letter from my friend. At first, excitement took me. Then came the fear of the response, and then I finally opened it. It was the last sentences of the letter that really changed me. Your letter saved me. So thank you. Thank you for this. Never in a million years could I have thought that my letter, my words could save anyone. Never did I think that my letters could have such a powerful impact on someone. I never really got a second letter from the lady downstairs, but it was a text from her that read, "Thank you to the person who wrote the letter. It made my day." That was all I needed to realize that letters weren't just pieces of papers with words thrown on them. I could give all of you a scientific explanation of the reason behind letters, or the happy hormones released when we write them, or how humans have been sending letters for thousands of years. But letters aren't science for me. Letters emanate that love from my sister when she leaves for college and tells me she'll always find her way home to me. Letters are that birthday ritual with my best friend where she scolds me for all the dumb things I've done and lets me know that her life wouldn't be as fun without me. Letters are words from an 80-year-old woman living in New Jersey telling me that I was like the granddaughter she never had. Letters are a connection. It's a way of telling our stories. It's a way of finding solace in the words of a stranger when you least expect it. It's a way of finding happiness in words when you can't find it in yourself. It's a way of telling the story of a young girl living in an abusive home whose only hope is the letter she gets. It's a way of telling myself that imagining a perfect love story isn't life, but living in the here and now is. Letters found me when I myself couldn't. So on that note, I took it on myself to write a letter to my dearest audience. To everyone out here, I'd like to start off by introducing myself. I'm a 16-year-old girl whose favorite pastime is arguing in her head about all the things that are wrong because she can't really get a word out when it's showtime. I'm someone who finds comfort in a blanket of words. If you would have asked me where I was 2 weeks ago, I would have honestly told you guys that I was up all night crying on my sister's lap about all the things that had happened to me in just 1 year. I would have told you that no matter how much I had been improving myself, at the end of the day, I would always end up in this black hole of my mind. To be honest, not much has changed since. But putting it down, all of me in words, and sharing these things with someone living on the other side of the world who knows what it's like to be me, filled a little color inside that black hole, even though I know it's not scientifically possible. In writing these letters, I didn't find people who were looking for bonds over food or music or movies. I found people who were looking for bonds with souls. People who just wanted to know that no matter what they went through, they were never alone. I guess that's all I'm trying to say. No matter what you go through, you're never alone. And this I say, with love, Urvi.